me just kind of have you swing without thinking about anything new. Just do your comfortable swing so I get this on baseline. Right now what I'm seeing, and you'll see it when I send the video to you, I'm seeing you about here.
Outside?
Yeah, you take it out here, and you really don't get very much turn. This is your setup from behind you before I made any adjustments in your swing. This is with your iron. With the driver, I didn't get any video from behind you before I made adjustments, but I did get video after the adjustments. Your setup posture from this angle looks very good. I've drawn a blue line up the shaft and behind you so we can follow your club in relationship to that shaft line. Ideally, as the club goes back and around your body from this angle, that club head should stay pretty close to the blue line. I'm comparing you to Grant Wade, who was a top tour player during the 90s and one of the best ball strikers on tour at that time. And now he's one of the top instructors of tour players. As his club goes back, I'm going to stop it when the shaft of the club is parallel to the ground. As you can see, the club stayed close to the blue line and slightly below the blue line. As you take the club back, you basically just lift it straight up in the air without any turn. As both of you continue back from the 2 position, which is when the shaft is parallel to the ground, to now the 3 position, which is when the left arm is parallel to the ground, you can see that Grant has the shaft still pointing at the golf ball. As you continue up to the 3 position, your shaft is almost vertical to the ground. As Grant continues to the top of his backswing and then begins his downswing back to the left arm parallel position, he has returned the shaft to the same plane as he had in his backswing. Now, because your shaft is so far above the blue line, as you continue your backswing, you will have to make a compensation move to try to get the shaft back on the plane of the blue line. You'll do a circular loop motion towards the blue line as you come down in the backswing. This move gets you closer to the blue line than when it was at the red line, but not on plane to the blue line, which is the goal. Because the golf circle is on a tilt towards the player, the backswing should naturally follow that circle back and to the inside. In order to strike the ball solid and compress the ball so it springs off the club face, you must also then swing towards the ball from the inside with an inside-out swing. In order to do that, you must keep the club head behind the hands on the downswing when the shaft of the club is parallel to the ground on the downswing. When you do that, a line from the club to the hands will show the path the club would be allowed to make. You can see that Grant will be able to swing towards the ball on the inside-out path, which will give him maximum distance for his club speed. You can see that when your club is parallel to the ground on the downswing, the club head is in front of the hands, and a line drawn from the club head to the hand would create an outside-in swing path. This will give you a glancing blow to the ball, and you'll not be able to compress the ball to get maximum distance. The key point is that you can get more distance without having to swing faster, simply by changing your current outside-in path to an inside-out path. Now I have both of you at the impact position, and you can see how much Grant has turned his hips into the golf ball. I can easily see his left back pocket. You have arrived at impact almost in the same square position you started with. Your golf swing tends to be mostly an arm swing, which will produce less power than a body swing. The best way to swing the club around the body in a circle is to turn the body around in a circle. Now let's look at your driver swing from the face-on position. On the right is Paula Creamer. You have a very good setup, comfortable athletic stance, good extension in the arms. The only change you might experiment with is to move the ball position up in your stance a little closer to the left toe. As we watch Paula start her backswing and stop in the 3 position, which is when the left arm is parallel to the ground, she has maintained a nice extension in the left arm and has hinged the shaft into almost a 90-degree angle. I also want to point out that she has kept her left foot flat on the ground and has not lifted up that foot. When you get to the 3 position, you too have kept a nice extension in the left arm and also have hinged the club to an almost 90-degree angle. Even though you have lifted your left foot, this is not something I want to change at this time. In fact, it may be something you need to keep in your swing. I've drawn a box from the center of the ankles to the top of the head. And as Paula starts her backswing, she stays centered in this box. Her hips turn without sliding to the right. As you take your club back, your hips tend to slide to the right without much turn as you lift the club straight up. This causes the club to move in a straight line and not in a circle around your body. You can see how your right hip is pushed outside the box. You can also see that you have very little shoulder turn in your backswing with your current swing. This is the end of the backswing. Now it's important to say that our goal is not to try to achieve these positions of professionals. That is an unreasonable goal. And I want all your goals to be reasonable and achievable. The goal is to achieve the fundamental of turning in the backswing instead of sliding and lifting the club. The goal is not to turn as much as the pros, but to turn as much as your range of motion will allow. Let me see you stand up straight and do a baseball swing.
Okay, I'm an old baseball player.
Good. Let me see that. I want you to feel the roundness of that swing. Feel how you turn. You have a really good shoulder turn with that baseball swing, and you don't have near enough shoulder turn with your golf swing.
Okay.
So with particularly the longer clubs, the driver, you want it to be a flatter, you want to feel like it's around your body, more of a merry-go-round and not a Ferris wheel. You have too much of a straight up here, straight up and straight down. I need you to really turn your hips and your shoulders and get this club behind you more. Do that baseball swing one more time. Good. Now how loud can you swish it right there with that baseball swing? So I want your initial impulse, I want it to be a turn of the turn, rotate. And that takes the club to the inside. I've got to go in to the inside with your backswing.
Okay.
Now, I want you to hit that tee for me with that new thought. So your initial move, if I stood here and I said, I want you to take it back as if you're handing me the club, that's kind of what you're doing now.
Oh,
What
but I want to be here, right?
Is I want you to hand me, I want you to immediately take the club to me back here.
Okay.
So turn immediately. Yes, that's a rotation right there. That'll feel a little different.
Uh-huh.
On the left was your original swing before we started working on making turns. And on the right is your new swing where you're taking it to the inside with a baseball swing. With the early turn, you set the club further behind you, which automatically creates more power. To use a bow and arrow analogy, your original swing on the left doesn't pull the string of the bow back very far to shoot the arrow very far. On the right, you have pulled the bow back further to shoot the arrow further.
My swing was too upright, is that what you're saying?
That's correct. Go ahead and set up to that ball for a second. Now I'm going to set this club at the same angle you set here. Okay?
Okay.
That's the swing plane. That means when this club gets behind your head, it should be on that same angle. That's being it stayed on plane. But you have a tendency to be here instead of here. So by turning more, we'll keep it on plane. You have a tendency to get up here with it. Your baseball swing is natural.
Right.
And so I'm wanting you to tap into what your natural baseball swing is, but it's just on a tilt. The baseball swing is on a tilt.
So I'm going to hit this just second tee.
Like that.
On the left is your swing before we started making any changes and more turn in your backswing. As I mentioned earlier, you want that club head to be following that red line as close as possible. And you can see how your club just went straight up. On the right is your new backswing where you have a baseball swing, a shoulder turn and hip turn. and you can see how your club head is much closer to that red line. You're doing a much better job of staying on plane. That's excellent. On the left, as you continue to complete your backswing, it gets into this very high vertical position and never really gets very close to being on plane. With your new backswing, you get that shaft parallel to the plane line, which means your shaft is on plane. Now with your rounder, flatter swing, you approach the ball from the inside, compressing the ball better and no longer hit the ball with a weak, glancing blow.
So now there's a lot of power in unturning. You're basically getting all your power just with your arms. You weren't really taking advantage of the larger muscle groups in your body. Now this is contributing to some club speed. Very nice. There's a little different pop on that sound.
A little bit, huh?
Yeah. Oh man, these are like bullets. You have a solid foundation of fundamentals in your golf swing, but everybody has missing fundamentals.
Right.
But you've hit a wall and you stopped improving. So what we're doing now is trying to find the missing fundamental. I have a lot of missing fundamentals. You have a lot of missing fundamentals. It's not correct to work on any missing fundamental. It's only correct to work on the fundamental that will blend the best with what you already have. And so what was missing the most is this turn in your backswing. So we're getting on plane so that we can swing on plane and deliver more consistently the ball to the...
That baseball analogy is a good one.
Yeah, that's your natural swing. Very nice. High and solid. Oh, I like that a lot. That's turning over really good. That'll roll good.
Really good.
Oh, that's just going screaming down the fairway.